It was actually at that point I had done these 4 standalones, and my UK editor said, "Have you thought about doing another series, but something maybe leaning more into the feel of the suspense thriller and less on the mystery like you'd done before?" And I was trying to think about, okay, who would I write about? And I thought, well, I want him to have been with the CIA, and then maybe he got kicked out for some reason. And then what would be his job? I came up with this long list of jobs that would have him trotting around the globe, and none of them worked. And I was like just sketching at the end of the day, and it was happy hour somewhere, and I think I sketched a martini glass, and I thought, well, what if he owned bars? And I was like, yeah, it could be like, Rick Blaine from Casablanca meets Jason Bourne, right? Why does he own these bars? How did he get these bars? I didn't have any answers to that. But Adrenaline, the first book in the Sam series, sort of shows where my thinking went. He's young, he's married, he's like 23. He grew up working for a family that worked for an Episcopal relief agency. So he grew up in trouble spots all over the world. He picked up as a kid all sorts of languages and skills. He had a brother who was killed on videotape by terrorists. And he decided at that point, when he graduated from Harvard, to enter the CIA. So he has just started working in an office in London in a special group that deals with criminal threats that could actually threaten US national security, because the criminal syndicates have gotten so large, they can be a threat like a terrorist group can be. His wife, who's also a CIA officer, is pregnant. She calls him coming from a medical appointment and asks him to come outside. He goes outside thinking something's wrong. Maybe she's miscarried or she's sick. He sees her in a car across the street, and then the office behind him explodes, killing all their coworkers. The car she's in, she sees that Sam sees that she's with a man. The car races off. He's arrested and held by the CIA because they think he's a traitor, and that he and his wife together did this, and then she double crossed him. And so she's pregnant with his child, and he's a suspected traitor, and he's got to get out from under the thumb of the CIA to find her, find their child, and find out what happened. And so Adrenaline was my first New York Times bestseller. It was a pick in 1 week, both on the Today Show and Good Morning America, which was extremely bizarre. But it was like that was the start of the Sam series. And my latest book, Traitor'S Dance, is the 6th in the series, and I'm working on the 7th. I had done 5 Sams in a row, and I just felt like I had put him through the ringer. I had really put him through the ringer. All his relationships are sort of laid waste by the end of that book, because he has done his best to try to stop his brother from committing a crime that could start a war. And it was probably, I think he was just really, really exhausted. I really loved writing the book because it was almost like a flashback. Sam's brother is an assassin hired by someone in the inner circle around the Russian president, which is a very small town of people that the Russian president has all elevated to billionaire status, which is actually true in the real world that we deal with. But it was sort of fun because I thought, have I gone full circle? I've gone back to the small town mysteries that I started off with. Who is the person who hired this assassin? They're not maybe the one pulling the trigger, but they're setting everything in motion. And I started to feel like this feels like structuring. Here I am writing this geopolitical global thriller, yet it feels like a small town mystery. And that was something that I sort of loved in doing it. But when by the end of the first order, I was ready to let Sam, go to Sandals or something. I decided to jump forward in time 10 years with Sam number 6, which is Traitor'S Dance. And I I Sam's son had not really been a factor in the stories in terms of a character that he interacted with much because he was a toddler. If I jump ahead 10 years, he's suddenly a teenager. And here is Sam still doing this very dangerous undercover work. His son has no idea. Sam is like the suburban dad. I put him in Lake Haven, which was the setting for the standalone novels that I had written between the First Order and Traitor's Dance. Um, and I've made him into the suburban dad who goes to his son's basketball games and is on the PTA, and the moms are trying to set up him with their friends or their sisters. And so I wanted him to have sort of this one life that the public sees and this other life that literally no one can imagine that would ever think that he is, this highly capable operations agent who takes on this very dangerous work. And he tries to keep those two parts of his life very, very separate. And it becomes increasingly less possible in the course of Traitor's Dance. So I'm working on it right now, but I don't know. I don't have a release date for it. I'm drafting it. There was an ending to Traitor's Dance that is a bit of a cliffhanger. I won't say more than that. I will say this one is bringing the danger home, I think, for Sam more so than any other book has. Um, but I'm enjoying writing it, and pulling in all these different kinds of characters back into suburban Austin who normally would be on the stage for global thrillers has been kind of fun.